UK F-35B makes historic landing on Japanese mini-aircraft carrier. Aircraft carriers from Japan, the UK, and the US have conducted a major exercise in the Western Pacific, highlighted by the first landing of a UK-operated Lockheed Martin F-35B on a Japanese vessel. Called the JS Kaga, the newly configured amphibious carrier is designed to transport F-35s, troops, helicopters, and other power-projecting and attack-enabling assets. Japan is significantly bolstering its naval power projection capabilities by converting its two Izumo-class helicopter destroyers, the JS Kaga and JS Izumo, into light aircraft carriers capable of operating F-35B stealth fighter jets. The Japanese maritime self-defense forces have evolved to a high-speed, mobile, fifth-generation warfare capability through the rapid development of new mini-aircraft carriers that carry F-35B. The Kaga and the Izumo have been modified to operate F-35B fighter jets, which have short takeoff and vertical landing capabilities. These vessels are now capable of deploying and supporting F-35Bs, bolstering Japan's defense capabilities, particularly in the context of rising regional tensions with China. They operate more like U.S. amphibious assault ships than traditional fleet carriers. It is also a milestone for Japan, as it establishes smaller aircraft carriers equipped with the F-35B Lightning II, or Lightning carriers, as the new capital ships of Asia. These smaller light carriers can hit speeds over 35 knots and are very maneuverable, making them much harder to hit. Royal Navy F-35Bs conduct first-ever landings on Japanese carrier during major Indo-Pacific drills. The event reflects growing trilateral naval cooperation among key Asia-Pacific and allied powers, aimed at strengthening interoperability and demonstrating combined maritime strike capabilities amid China's growing militarism. The Royal Navy says 4 carriers took part in the 9-day activity: HMS Prince of Wales, the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Forces JS Kaga, and the U.S. Navy's USS George Washington and USS America. The training focused on maritime strike missions and simulated air combat. The America and Prince of Wales both operate the short takeoff and vertical landing F-35B, while George Washington, the largest carrier in the group, operates the catapult-launched, arrestor cable-recovered F-35C. The Boeing FA-18EF Super Hornet and EA-18G Growler also operate from George Washington. The UK F-35B landing on Kaga was flown by Lieutenant Rob Calloway of 845 Naval Air Squadron. "Flying to the Kaga was a great experience," says Calloway. "It was my first time flying to a Japanese vessel and they were incredibly professional and welcoming. I am looking forward to working with them again in the future." A U.S. Marine Corps F-35B, also operating from Prince of Wales, joined Calloway on the sortie. "It was a real privilege and the highlight of my embarkation so far to land the first UK F-35B on JS Kaga," said Lieutenant Commander Dan Latham of 809 Naval Air Squadron. Although the hard work to enable this evolution had taken months to prepare, on the day itself, all force elements integrated seamlessly. It truly demonstrated the ease with which the UK and Japan can operate together in the Indo-Pacific region now and in the future. Japan has received the first 3 of the 42 F-35B it has on order, but the type has yet to begin operating from Kaga. The vessel and sister ship JS Izumo are officially designated multifunctional destroyers, but have undergone extensive modifications to operate the F-35B. Flying operational F-35B from Japanese ships is something that has been developing for several years, as the U.S. Marine Corps conducted a joint U.S.-Japanese multinational exercise wherein Marine Corps F-35B landed on Japanese warships. This clearly seems to have been a precursor to what is happening now with Japan's growing fleet of mini-carriers. Japan's growing military budget and large-scale military expansion and weapons developers is, in large measure, related to growing threats from China. China operates the J-20, but that is a land-launched platform incapable of projection power from the ocean. The J-20 may also be more vulnerable to F-35s and F-22s depending upon the range and fidelity of its sensors and the range and accuracy of its weapons systems. Regardless, the US and its allies are increasingly in a position to operate a large force of F-35s in position to counter or contain China from the air. This kind of tactical thinking is likely a large reason why the Japanese Ministry of Defense is both acquiring F-35s and building mini-carriers. These upgraded vessels provide Japan with a more mobile and flexible strike capability, potentially enhancing its ability to project power in the region. The ability to deploy F-35Bs from these Lightning carriers contributes to Japan's overall defense strategy, particularly in light of continued aggression from China. It allows Japan to project and protect its shores. Deploying smaller mini-carriers such as this makes great strategic and tactical sense for Japan, as smaller platforms able to deliver F-35B are of course smaller and more difficult to hit targets for Chinese anti-ship missiles. They are also likely faster and more maneuverable than massive U.S. Navy carriers and could likely operate in close coordination with forward-operating U.S. Navy amphibs to project fifth-generation air power in any potential conflict. Japan is also exploring the use of drones in conjunction with the F-35B, which could further expand the capabilities of its carrier air wings. The U.S. has been developing the Loyal Wingman or the Collaborative Combat Aircraft program. Japan's concern about China has led to significant increases in its defense spending. The Kaga can carry 12 F-35B. While the F-35B is the only variant designed to operate from amphibious assault ships and light aircraft carriers, it boasts the same stealth technology and advanced avionics as the F-35A and F-35C variants. Prince of Wales and other Royal Navy vessels are on the Operation HIMAST global deployment. The carrier and its air wing have already participated in other Asia-Pacific exercises, including Australia's large-scale Talisman Sabre event from July to August. The 9-day exercise, which began on August 4, involved 11 ships and 23 aircraft from the United States, United Kingdom, Japan, Australia, Spain and Norway. Training included large-scale fifth-generation maneuvers, tactical intercepts, a UK fighter maritime strike and basic fighting maneuvers. On Sunday, a UK F-35B made an emergency landing at Kagoshima International Airport in Japan due to an in-flight engineering issue, marking the second diversionary landing of the deployment. The fighter remained at the airport for inspection as of Tuesday. Bringing together the large deck forces from the UK, Japan and US, as well as escort vessels from Spain, Norway and Australia, in such close range showcases the strength and interchangeability of our combined task groups, said Commodore James Blackmore, commander of the UK Carrier Strike Group. The exercise also saw HMS Prince of Wales complete its first double replenishment at sea, refueling from RFA Tidespring while simultaneously taking on munitions and supplies from US Navy ships Wally Skirra. Following the drills, Prince of Wales, HMS Dauntless and HNO-MS Roald Amundsen arrived in Yokosuka, Japan, while other Allied vessels moved on to port visits in Korea and the Philippines.